All right, everybody, welcome back. The Hangout. I haven't been on the Hangout in it's been over a year, so this is the season 4, and like I said, it's been quite a time. But anyways, I am Rebel. I appreciate you guys being here, all on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, wherever you guys are watching us. I appreciate you all. To kick off season 4, I got a very special guest, Miss Dead Mom Alive.
Hello.
I've known her for quite some time now.
Very long time. Yep.
She's one of the very first ones I met when I first started streaming a long time ago. It seems like I always say streamer years are like dog years. You know, dog years are 7, and I think every year you're a streamer, it like adds 3 years to your life.
Right.
So, so it's just like I don't know, it's crazy. But anyways, welcome back to the Hangout. We're gonna be doing. I'm gonna try to do more of these on Monday nights and stuff like that as we get going. As soon as I get some more people that want to come on. Um, like I said, I'm excited. And if you guys want, if go ahead and ask questions or whatever in the chat, and we'll get to them towards the middle or in the end of the session. Um, but I appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
with that, tell us, who are you?
Oh, I'm trying to figure that out myself at almost 50 years old. Jeez. Well,
Cheers to
like
that. I turned
right.
51 this year.
Cheers. Well, I'll be 49 in November, but we're getting there. Um, but so basically, I am Dead Mom Alive. I have been streaming. Well, actually, this July will be 8 years since I started my journey in the streaming industry.
Nice.
Started originally on Twitch, which was great. It was a great but very slow start. I appreciated that start because it kind of showed me the ways and what I needed to do. I want to say about the summer of 2019, towards the end of that, I switched over to Mixer. I wanted to give it a try. I started doing a little bit of restreaming with that. And Mixer was just we all know Mixer, how well
Oh,
people,
Mixer.
people did over there. I took off so fast, well faster than Twitch, obviously. And that is initially what started giving me hope as my for my content creation because that's when I started introducing Wonder Woman Wednesdays, Face Paint Fridays, um, and it was starting to pick up and catch on that these were the things that I was doing. Sadly, we all know Mixer shut down.
Yeah.
When they made that announcement, literally the next day or two, I went over to Trovo. I heard about
Hmm.
Trovo. I was like, let's start this up. I have a good friend who was already streaming over there. They were already hitting the mark in the partnerships. And I couldn't believe how freaking easy it was. I was like, I can do this. What do you mean? So when I went over there, I just shined. I shined like I was like this is it. This is it for me. And I really thought that. And it was a good, really amazing start to a good chunk of my career. Um, sorry, I would say middle ground to a chunk of my career, and I couldn't believe how well I did over there. Um, and then, slowly I started progressing things that I was doing. I took on Tactical Demon Tuesdays. Would follow up with Wonder Woman Wednesdays, Throwdown Thursdays, or sometimes Throwback Thursdays, depending on what we were doing. And then, of course, always Face Paint Fridays. Me and my sis, we were doing Sea of Thieves Saturdays. So every day was an amazing theme, and people really were gravitating towards that. They always knew what they could count on. They always knew where to find me, and it was amazing. But Trovo ended up being Trovo, and I ended up gravitating towards back to Twitch and Kick again, or to Kick as Kick started to take off at that time. Um, but it's just been an amazing journey growing and building community. But as of now, I had made an announcement. Let's see, back in November, I think, that I was gonna quit, and was probably the biggest mistake of my life as far as content creation. I should have just told people I was taking a break, because when you do that, people think you're done. You
Yeah.
make a statement, you put your foot in that grave, you're done. So what do people do? They go other places. They leave, and they don't think you're coming back. That's not their fault. So here I'm just trying to build up. I've been back for a couple of months now, I want to say.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to build things back up again, which has been a struggle because I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it was going to be so hard trying to build these things back up again. But I'm not a quitter. So,
Well, so talking about that, it's just like I said,
mhm.
we come from a day when basically streaming. We were in the early ages of streaming. Especially
Yes,
anybody that was on Mixer was in the early days of streaming.
yes,
It doesn't seem that way because I mean, like I said, I swear though, you add 3 to 4 years to your life every time you go live. But
yep.
so when you came back, because how long were you gone?
Well, I was gone from Twitch a total of 6 months, but
Six
Mixer, I
months.
mean, sorry, Mixer, we were just talking about Mixer. But Kick, I was gone for about a year and a half. I quit Kick before I quit, period. And the reason why I quit Kick real quick is because I just didn't see the website progressing. So when I first got on Kick to get verified, it was the whole 50
Mm,
CCV, kind of where it is now. And then they changed it because they noticed people were doing the bots and all that stuff. So they changed it to 75 to the CCV. And I was very close to hitting that mark. I was like 40, 50 average. I wasn't quite getting it exactly. I hit the mark several times and I was denied several times. I don't know why. But when they hit it to I couldn't quite get to that 75. It like every now and again, maybe if I got a good rate or something, but I just couldn't get that. And I felt that that was really rough for people who were coming in to Kick kind of brand new because here's the thing, it's not hard to get Kick partnered once you get verified because the
yeah,
thing, once you're verified, your community's already built up. You're already there. You just got to hit that couple of more marks after that, which is comes literally right after you built up your community. But if you don't have community over on Kick, it makes it really difficult to even get an average of 10. They
yeah.
make it really hard with that average. I've hit almost every mark besides that viewer average or that CCV. But I do believe that they so like I said, they had it at 75. They brought it back down to 50, which I'm like, okay, that's not the biggest goal for me. That's great, but right now I'm just building on community. Like I need to build community and build myself back up again, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
So I mean, before we get into the a little bit more personal stuff about not real personal, but
Hmm.
um, so I mean, it's just like because I have a problem. I mean, I don't have a problem because, like I said, I don't stream that much anymore. I just do this
Yeah.
stuff. But I know a lot of people. I see it on Twitter, on gaming Twitter and gaming TikTok and everything else about people struggling and everything.
Hmm.
Now, I know a lot of people don't put like the effort into it that they should because this is streaming. What gaming, streaming, and everything else, content creation. People call it not a job, but it is a full time job.
Hmm.
I
There's a
mean,
lot of work that goes on
if you
behind the
want to,
scenes.
yeah, if you want to make it anywhere, you
Yeah.
know, now because I think what they're doing is they're looking at people like all these old OG streamers like Ninja, Tim the Tatman, and all of them,
Hmm.
to where they can afford to have people do their clips, their everything else. They,
Yeah.
they they can afford to have people do that for them.
Hmm.
But as an individual, you put on every hat. Anytime you're the editor, you're the the producer, you're the
Yep.
the executive producer, you're all everything. Because I mean, we're
Yep.
broadcasters. I
Yep.
mean, we're no different. We are. Got to look at it this way: as a streamer, as a content creator, whatever, you're no different than a newscaster, a news anchor, or anything else.
Right.
The only thing
You're
that makes
putting
you,
in so much work.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you have to find the content, you have to find your audience. I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and even like today, like I was going in because I know Friday the 13th 's coming up, so I'm
Ooh,
actually, yeah. So which is June 13th. I'm actually have that day off, which I haven't done a face paint Friday in forever. That's gonna be my first face paint Friday. Will probably be the because I work Fridays. I
mm.
work a 10-hour day, and I don't want to come home and do face paint for 2 hours and then stream for God knows how many hours after that. I'm like, oh, it's too much, just way too fucking much. So I'm like, no, but being that I'm off on Friday the 13th, June 13th, which is amazing, which goes really well because I'm known for doing that half mask Jason. So that's something I'm going to take advantage of. And those are the type of things that I've just now starting to go with the flow with. Before, Streaming used to be my life. I felt like that was my entire identity, and I don't
Yep.
want that to be my entire identity anymore. Like I am a way more than that. I do so much more than that. But at the same time, you can't kind of be mad about that when that's what you put yourself at. You're a content creator. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's not the only thing I do. I do a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So,
No, I'm totally with you. It's just like because when I used to game, there was 2 months, 3 months in a row when I finally decided, like, I'm just gonna back off and just kind of like do it nonchalant here and there.
mm-hmm.
I went back on my Twitch stats for 3 months, and I was streaming 220 hours a month.
Oof.
That's
Yeah.
working that's working from 6 a.m. till 5 p.m. and then
Yep.
coming in, eating dinner, spending what time I could with the wife, and then I would jump on and
Right.
stream till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd repeat that 6 nights a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but I didn't. It's one of those things when you like it, you just don't realize you're doing it that much until what your body tells you. It's like, okay, you're not getting enough sleep,
Yep.
and your mentality starts to deteriorate. But one thing, so it's just like, okay, so you took a little bit of time off, and
Yep.
it seems like things. It's just like the news cycle with like everything else. The news cycle changes constantly, especially now. Do you see a change in like viewers? I mean, has some of the viewers, how do I want to put this? Some of the viewers' expectations have changed compared to
Mm,
what they were back when we first started.
um, I don't know if it's an expectation. I think that it's also how consistent you can sort of put yourself out there. Like when I was on Trovo, I was streaming 12-hour days just because there was a different type of stream element over there with the how many watched hours and stuff so you can get partnered. I was putting in well more work than I do anything today on Trovo. Um, I think it depends on what kind of streamer you are, honestly. If you're somebody who's constantly offering up things, let's say like right now I'm coming up with my own like spin wheel to do things. If you're somebody
Mm.
who's always offering things, and like I said, depending on what type of streamer you are, I'm not against anybody's content. You got to do what works for you. If it's doing gaming, if it's podcasting, if it's in the hot tub, if you shake your ass, whatever works for you. I don't care. I'm not a person who's judgmental or I can't believe she's doing that. I'm not like that. I think you got to do what works for you. So for instance, if I was somebody who was just like an average gamer, I just gamed every day and I was getting the average sub whatever, cool. They're not expecting more of me. But if I was somebody, and I don't mean anything wrong about this because I've done it too, would shake my tits for a sub, people are going to expect that if you're giving them that at the time. If that makes sense, does that make
Yep.
sense?
Yep.
So there is a level of expectation depending on what you're giving back to your viewers. That just depends. But for me, since my comeback, I've appreciated the people who are showing up. Like I'm not striving to chase people who used to be there and won't come back and just like I don't strive for that. I'm focused on the people who show up and they show up every day. That is your everything. That is the one thing you should hold on to even if it's one person. They show up every day. That's the one person you focus on,
Yeah,
and
I
that's how
agree.
I see it. I didn't always view it that way because I'm not gonna lie. Now I work full time, so that's where I get most my steady income. But when I wasn't working full time and I relied on stream income, I was super hyper focused on who can give me how many subs can I get? What am I gonna make the payout? Oh my gosh, and all that stuff because that was my livelihood.
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely come into it with a whole different outlook. I'm just looking to build community, have fun, hoping to get people to play with. If people want to come back, that's great. I'm not mad that you left. I understand. I'm not. Oh, I'm still the same me, but I'm not. I've done a lot of self growth and help. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you seen have you seen a lot of your old community come back
No.
or some? Have you seen any of it, or do
Yes,
you have a
some.
new
No, I have definitely had, especially some of the people who I've been friends with for, let's say, 7, 8 years. They have come around, um, but no, I've probably lost a good well over half my community. I had to
wow?
restart. I had to restart my Discord over, and even in my like, I'm grateful for everyone's in my Discord. I don't expect people to talk every day, and the people from Discord that do show up, to me, that's a blessing. But I didn't make this Discord originally thinking I was going to come back. So I had to revamp my whole Discord. Now it looks like
Hmm.
a gaming Discord. It kind of looks professional, if you want to call it that. But I now I feel like they don't, honestly, which is, at first it kind of was a little like, I don't want to say a gut punch, but it was very humbling, I guess, so to speak, because like, you rely on a certain amount of people that are always waiting for you, always showing up. And when you come back after being gone for 6 months or maybe a year and a half on a platform, you're just like, oh, I only have one person waiting, or one person, period. So what? Be grateful for that one person that's there, because they don't have to be there. You could have zero.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm grateful for that. I don't, like I've been telling my community and everyone who's coming in, I'm like, I don't expect everything overnight. I know I'm a good streamer, and it will happen as it needs to happen. At the same time, I struggle with making a schedule, because I work full time. And I just made a post about this, how, you know, should you make a schedule? Should you stick to it?
yeah,
Because I struggle with that. Because maybe there's a day I don't want to do it because I'm tired. Like
yeah.
I work, like I said, I work full time. So I don't know. I struggle with that. And I know it's important to stay consistent, but at the same time, like, I have life, work, stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, streaming's not up here for me anymore like it used to be.
So talking about consistency, I know, like you said, there's different forms of what people consider consistency.
Right.
I mean, what has worked better for you? Has it worked like in the past and coming up now? Has it worked better
Um,
like being consistent, like having the same days all the time, or just going live at least once or twice a week? I mean, because like
that's
I said,
hard to say.
there's different types of
There
consistency.
is, because I have not. So when I first got my job, I started my job August 26th. The reason I remember that is my son's birthday. So I started my job then, which I've almost been there a freaking year, which is crazy. Um, and and I was still streaming. I struggled really hard to balance my work life, my streaming life, and life. Really, really bad. And I think that's why I needed to take the break, because I needed to figure out what to freaking do at this point. Like, how do I balance? And I was gaining weight, wasn't taking care of myself. And after I went through that whole weight loss, I lost 41 pounds. I was feeling great. And then I gained a little bit of weight from
Damn.
the anxiety, yeah, from the anxiety. And I didn't know how to balance everything. So I was drinking more and I was eating like shit. I wasn't sleeping. So at that time, I was so stressed out about being consistent every freaking day that I wasn't giving a shit that I was going to work hungover, or if I felt like crap. And to me, when you're working an 11-hour day in a veterinary field, you don't want to go to work hungover. Trust me, you
No.
don't. You don't. Um, so I think I think personally, it's better to be consistent with days. I don't think it's very smart just to go live. But at the same time, I understand if people have to do that when life is so crazy and you can go live when you can. I get that 100%. Because at first, I was just going, when I first came back, I was just going live when I can. I didn't make a schedule. I was letting people know, hey, I'm here when I can be. Life is crazy. Life is hectic. I work full time. And then I slowly started to be consistent on certain days. I don't work Tuesday, Wednesdays, and I don't work on the weekends. Every now and again on a Saturday, I worked this last Saturday. I don't work often on Saturdays. So I can kind of be consistent with that. But at the same time, if I'm working Monday, streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, working Thursday, Friday, streaming Saturday, where's my day off?
Yeah.
Where is my day off? So there has to be some sort of middle ground for my mental health. There has to be a day, and I don't think, given myself a day off since I started streaming back, which is a red flag. I need to chill.
So, so no, definitely. So I mean, so what do you think about these people that sit there and say they stream for their mental health?
No, I like
Is that
listen, I do see some I do feel and see some truth in that 100% because when I first started, the reason I started streaming, it wasn't like, oh my God, I can make money doing this. It wasn't that for me. Yeah, I knew that could be a potential, but I had just, so not just at the time when I started Twitch, about maybe 6, 9 months before that, my ex-husband had left me for another woman. So
oh damn.
I went through a whole, and it hit me like a gut punch. I didn't know, and I was still in love, all that crap. So it was really terrible, and I
Yes.
didn't know what to do. I just felt so lost. Couldn't, I didn't have an income. I didn't know I didn't have any friends. I just felt so lost. So I started watching people on Twitch. Just my brother was a streamer, so I was his moderator. I'm like, this seems cool. I think I could do this. And then I found who, I don't know if you know her, Miss Baby Doll.
Hmm.
She is a Twitch streamer. She was a big, big, big time on Twitch at the time. Her and I have been super close, still are close to this day. She actually became one of my biggest inspiration to get into a lot of the things I do now, like face painting. She was my inspiration, not for Wonder Woman Wednesdays, but for Wonder Woman. Um, she used to dress up as Wonder Woman from time to time. She did a lot of cosplay. She did a lot of face paint, and literally one of the sweetest women that I think I've ever met in my life. She calls me her online mom. She's my online daughter, type of stuff. We've had a great friendship for probably about 9 years now, 8 or 9 years now. Um, so I was constantly like very enthralled with everything she was doing, and I just knew in my heart and soul that I could do it. Wouldn't say better, but I knew I could do it. So that's kind of where I got my inspiration from that and just said, fuck it, and rolled with it because I needed community. I needed community more than I needed anything. When I first started, I didn't make a lot of money at all.
Yeah.
It took me about 2 weeks to get affiliate ish. Um, and I wasn't making a ton. I made maybe the payout here and there because I think the payout's always been kind of $50.
Yeah.
I hit the payout here and there, maybe get some donations, but I wasn't like making anything crazy. Um, but for me, when I started streaming and I met my friend, we'll say his name is Rev Undead on Twitch.
Hmm.
Um, he became my stream partner, my best friend for like we're still best friends. We still hang out constantly in the discords and stuff like that. And him and Eric, which is my partner, are really good friends. We're really close, and we've built this amazing bond over 8 years now.
That's cool.
Which are those types of things that I want. I want that type of stuff. It's great to make that extra money, sure. I have a full time job. I don't need to worry about that part. But for me, building that, and I did like for me when I started, I needed community. I don't know if it was for mental health, but I think if you stress, I feel like when somebody stresses mental health too much, I feel like they're trying too hard. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. Like that's great. Mental health, I love that. We all need help with mental health. I need help with mental health.
Hmm.
But I feel like when you push that out too much, you're trying too hard. You're really trying too hard.
Yeah.
Like, just be real. I just want you to be real. Just be real.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, that's one of the things that we talk about a lot is the fact of I've seen, like I said, I've seen the difference in how people view streams, how people and the content has changed
Yeah.
a lot since
Yeah. Oh, it sure
we started
has.
streaming.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's not even about. I mean, like I said, with the pandemic and the lockdowns and everything, podcasts became like. If I mean, it just like filtered everything. Everybody wanted to become a podcaster. I know.
I should have jumped on that train then. I didn't.
It's not too late. I mean,
I know. I mean, I do it on TikTok. Like I was telling
yeah.
you, I do it a little bit on TikTok. I just started doing it on TikTok. I do a little bit of gaming over there, and then I'll do like where I do my makeup and we talk
Mhm.
about like weight loss and we talk about life and struggles and mental health and what works and what doesn't work, what you've gone through. And I've made some amazing connections over there. Like, I'm not like, TikTok's not my main platform. I'm not trying to make, be famous or like make a shit ton of money over there. I just want to make connections. And when I say that, I'm genuine about that. I want to make connections with like people like that. Like my buddy Rev, I've been friends with him for 8 years. Miss Eva, I've been friends with her for almost 8 years. Like I want those types of connections, that I've met people through gaming. I have another friend, Shell Lemons, like Major Jan. I just went to their wedding not long ago. You know what I'm saying? I've been friends with them for like 5, 6 years. Those are the type of connections I look for. I love everybody. I love lurkers. I love all that. But genuine connection to
Yeah.
me is what I need and what I feel like I strive for.
And that's one of the things I think that has changed. That's one of the things me personally I think has changed in the streaming community. Because back, like I said, when back when I first picked it up and started, because I found Mixer on Xbox,
Yeah.
because I got sick and then I bought an Xbox while I was healing just to keep my my mind, I guess alert or whatever, but
Right.
because I couldn't do anything physical. So, and then I found Mixer and I started watching people. I think the very first streamer I watched, and I watched her consistently, I actually watched her grow from like a streamer into partner and all that. And then, but, was 100 or 1,000 years. I watched
Hmm.
her for quite a while, but and that's what got me. It's just like, oh, this looks easy. I can
Right.
do this.
Right.
Sit here,
Hmm.
play games, talk to people. Yeah, it's definitely not that
It's a
easy.
lot of work. It's a lot of work because, like, I just actually was just talking about this in one of my chats recent or my streams recently. I'm like, listen, I've always been a fan of networking. I think networking
Mm,
is important. You must network. It's like I've always talked about that. But since I've come back, and we can dive into this a little bit without obviously mentioning names, but I've been struggling with networking with streamers because of my past relationship with streamers.
mm,
I don't want people to think that I'm here just for your views, or I don't want your people. Like I'm just here to meet people, maybe game with you if you want to come hang out. Like every night that or every time that I stream, I'm constantly asking people, does anybody want to hang out? Anybody want to play? I mean, I'm happy to play a single player game 100%, but I'm always asking. I'm so like, and that, like I said, that's what I strive for. I want company. I want people to hang out with. And when I get no answers, it can be frustrating, but at the same time, I can't force that. It's going to happen naturally as it needs to happen.
yeah,
So as people see me that I'm back, either they're going to see that I'm back or new people are going to come in. Either way, even if it takes a bit, I gave myself to the end of this year to maybe make kick verification, and that's not even partner.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. Yeah, I
not
gave.
striving for that.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, my ultimate goal is sooner or later, one of these days, once I get a consistent, and it is about, like I said, the consistency, finding people,
It
especially
is.
like with the podcasting thing, it's just like finding people that are able to do it. Like I said, I understand everybody has lives; they
Right.
can't always do it.
Right.
They don't have the free time that I have on certain days, but it's just like my ultimate goal with podcasting is before I die, I want to be paid. I want to at least have one paycheck from iHeartRadio.
Right. For real.
That's my ultimate goal, just one big paycheck from iHeartRadio.
And
But
I think you can do it. And I'm a big fan of the law of attraction. So if people don't know this about me, I've mentioned this several times. I actually have a printed out check right above my camera of what I expect or what I want to make for that month. And I actually have one for $100,000 on my refrigerator because my ultimate goal is to find something that I'm really fucking good at and make a fucking $100,000 at it. Now, eventually, like I have ideas and there's things that I'm rolling with that I haven't really talked about or mentioned because they're my ideas and we know how that
yeah,
works.
oh yeah,
Um, so I'm like my hope and my dream, and as I put this out there for the law of attraction to hear me, is to make this $100,000 soon.
yeah. It's kind of funny because I don't know if you heard about, it, but Jim Carrey did that.
Hmm.
He wrote himself when he first came, and because I didn't realize that until I read a couple of documentaries on him and stuff like that, and watched a couple documentaries. But he literally, when he first started, wrote him a $10 million check, and I can't remember how long it was, but he was actually like able to cash that sooner or later.
Yeah.
But
And
the
well, my point is where I got that from is from The Secret. I don't know if you've heard about it.
huh,
My dogs.
I,
Dog.
yeah, I have them here. I have one that's getting ready to
What?
come up to and visit us, so I totally understand that.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's already here. She's like, I'm here. I just adopted her. She is two and almost she'll be 3 in September. She's a little Frenchie. She's a mini Frenchie. She's only 15 pounds,
oh wow.
full grown. The people who had her before used her for breeding. So she at least had at least a litter or two. Um, when so they lost her at one point when the local shelter had found her, the city shelter found her. The law here is when your dog is found, you don't come claim them for so long. The
Mm-hmm.
rule is they get fixed if they're not fixed. They get fixed and they get microchipped and they're all that vaccines and stuff. Well, when the owner found that out, they said if you fix her, she is worthless to us, which
Oh man.
broke my. When I heard that, I literally cried. And then when I saw her, I saw pictures of her. And then when I saw her personally, I broke out in tears and I had to have her. I'm like, what do you mean? This is the sweetest little girl in the world just because she can't have puppies. Like, what? Like, you can't measure the worth of a dog because they can't have puppies.
Oh no, definitely. I had 3 of them when I first moved to where I'm at now,
No, they're
and
fine. It doesn't bother me.
as you can hear mine in the background, so
It doesn't bother me at all. But
they love the
my
neighbors.
dog can hear your dogs through my headset, and she's losing her shit. She's like, "What?" You see her perked up ears. She's like, "What's
Yeah.
going on?" She's a little huffy puppy right now. So she doesn't get along with other dogs, and we don't know why. I'm working with her as I'm a veterinary technician, and I've gone through training and stuff like that. So I am working with her, but she is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. No, every time they like to get up on my window, and every time somebody walks by, they think they
Yeah.
need to like announce their presence.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. A blade of grass will blow in the wind. And she's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." I'm like, wow. It's just, you're fine.
Yeah, yeah. I have an air conditioner in the window that I put in here in the summertime, but when it's not needed, I take it out, and I have a little border collie, and I made her a little platform so she could lay in the window at night, and she anything the trees blow or whatever, she like wakes up and starts barking. It's just like, so I had to put something in there to where she couldn't see out at night when she
Right.
sleeps. But
Oh, yeah.
no,
She can't see anything, but she can hear all the noises and she goes off and crazy.
but yeah, people underestimate dogs. I
Oh,
mean, dogs
yeah.
are put on here for a reason, and that was to show us that life is worth, is worth more than what we think it is. So.
Not only that, I think we get tested on how we treat our animals. If you're treating your animals like shit, guess what? You're coming back as a freaking anal bead in your next life.
Oh God.
You're coming back as an anal bead in your next life for treating a dog like a piece of shit.
Well, thank God I love
You know
my
what I'm saying?
dogs. I don't want to be an
Exactly.
anal bead.
Well, I guess it depends on whose ass it
Yeah.
is, I guess.
Well, I guess that's true. No.
Hey, but can I go feed her? Is that
Yeah, that's
cool?
fine.
Okay, give me
Yeah, that's
like
fine.
literally not even a minute.
That's fine.
Give me 1 second.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Oh, that's good. No
Yeah,
problems.
and I have a feeling like that's why she was like crying. She's like, "Mom, it's like 8 o'clock and you have not given me dinner."
Oh, wow. It's funny. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hide that. Yeah, some people, this should not be broadcasted in gaming. It is the wrong place. You're taking up space here in gaming. Yeah.
Oh, hi, we're
I,
broadcasting.
it's just like, it's not designated. I mean, we are, she
Well,
is a gamer
I thought, but I also wait. Where's that comment from?
on Rumble.
But I thought Rumble was more of a podcasty type of fucking.
Yeah,
Wait,
Rumble is a Rumble. It's kind of crazy because Rumble started out as a political free speech type thing, and now they're
yeah.
trying to get into all the other aspects of things.
Wow. I mean,
I just forgot to switch it to podcast. It was
I
on gaming.
honestly think there's room for everything on on every platform. The platform just needs to be a little bit more open, like a pair of butt cheeks.
Yeah, that's all right. It is about gaming. It is a gaming space. She's a gamer. I'm a gamer. It's a podcast game about gaming. So we're talking about gaming. You might learn something. You might stick around.
Not only that, we're just here to educate.
Yeah.
We're here to educate. Hey, maybe I can game on you. I will bust a cat. Actually, like, real quick story. So I think it was Saturday night. I was got on hoping somebody would come play, and I was like, oh well, we'll just start off with Apex. Maybe somebody wants to come play after me doing my little chatting intro. So I hop on. I think it was my second game, and I'm on PC, and I've been playing on Xbox for years up until recently. Probably in the last year, I've been more PC. Now I'm just kind of strictly PC.
Hmm.
I play a lot of my games via like the GeForce Cloud server, so it doesn't put like a load on my PC.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was playing Apex, and I use game chat just so I can communicate. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? When you're playing, COD, Apex, you're supposed to communicate, right? Well,
You
I'm just
think, yeah.
communicating, and this guy, I mean, I would say boy, because he sounded like maybe he was 16, if that, was like, used the N word on me. He's like,
Uh,
shut the fuck up. I'm like, you shut the fuck up. And I'm like, I'm just trying to keep me. Oh, bro. I had to turn my audio down
yeah.
and everything because he was using the N word. He was calling me everything in the book just because I was communicating.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you're a girl. You don't belong here. I'm like, bitch, I'm a woman. I'm not a girl. But yeah, so I mean, I've never dealt with that in Apex before.
I
COD, yeah,
can't I can't believe that's still a thing after all these years. That
yep. Like I
women. I
said,
mean,
pretty sure they were like boys, like older boys.
and the thing is, I think a lot of them do that because they themselves are trying to create content. Because negative content is what sells. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The more negative your content, the more viewers you're gonna get. I mean, that
I can't stand that.
we're human beings, and that's what we gravitate towards. Unfortunately,
It does. It really does suck. Like when you see somebody getting beat up, why do we watch that? Why the fuck are
yeah.
we watching that? But it's what hits.
Yeah, and on X, it's just like, especially if you have, because my main timeline is political Twitter, so it's just like most of my stuff is like everything that goes on negative everywhere. That's
Oh,
the reason
bro.
why I literally I jumped off of Twitter. I only jump on Twitter every once in a while. I'm trying to change my algorithm again because it's really easy to change. You just got to
Oh
start.
yeah.
You still got to start
You
picking up
know,
on things, but
without cutting you off too much,
no.
one thing that bugs me, see, I've gotten political here and there without getting into political stuff. What I don't like is people say we don't talk to each other enough, but when we do and we voice our opinions, whether it's political, we get that kind of shit. Why do you think we don't talk to each other enough? Because we get all this opinions against us because we're in America. We're allowed to choose what we're allowed to choose. We're allowed to vote for who we're allowed to vote for. Just because you didn't vote for who I voted for, that doesn't mean I have anything against you. You are American. That's your right.
Yeah,
When did this start happening?
I don't
Like
know.
the
Eh,
fuck? You know
I
how many people I lost over this last election?
oh god.
Not without getting too. I mean, I don't care if we get
No,
political. It's your
hey, no,
space.
it's
It's
no,
your
we're free form.
space.
We're free form. So it's however the conversation goes.
But like honestly, like if you're gonna get mad about how somebody voted, you should not have the ability to vote yourself because that's the whole point of the freedom of America.
Well, and I think a lot of that is the influence that social media has on people nowadays.
Fear mongering.
Yeah.
Fear
And
mongering is
and
a
they all know
big
that.
thing. Yep.
And they all know that. It's just I've been watching this Netflix or this Prime thing. They're talking. Remember the TV show Mad Men
Yes.
about the advertising?
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole. I think there's like a 5-part mini series talking about the original Mad Men, where they took the adaptation from to the TV show. They took
Yeah.
actual characters or actual real people and created characters out of them.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I've always been interested in that. I mean, it has a lot to do with the gaming space, has a lot to do with it's our daily life when it comes to advertising because these people I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to get into advertising because
Mhm.
that was where the money was.
Yeah.
The money was in advertising.
Yeah.
And if you were good at it and you knew how to, but you have to learn how to manipulate people. And that's what advertising does. That's all advertising is it just manipulates you into believing you need this, you
Right.
want this, you.
Absolutely.
So I've been watching the series, and I'm in the first one where they're talking about like the creation um from 1950 because ads didn't really start making an impact until the 50s. So because then you had car ads, you had everything else, and it's going this whole documentary is going through the different shifts in how advertising came. I mean, like I said, for gamers that are watching, advertising is the way you get people to come to you. You need to
Yep.
learn to advertise to market yourself. You need to learn you need to do that. You need to do that kind
Yeah.
of studying. You need to go back and realize you don't have to go to school for it. There is so much information out on the web right now. You do not need to go to school for like learning how to market
You just
yourself.
need YouTube. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Just saying, YouTube will teach you everything.
But yeah, it's just like so it's really interesting to know how we have progressed from I mean, we really haven't progressed. Things have just changed
Yes.
because the concept is still there. It's all about manipulation. It's all
Yep.
about making you believe you need this. It's all about making you believe you want this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what social media does now. I think that with, political, just societal, everything, it's just like social media has. I'm a firm believer now. I can remember back in the 90s when, like I said, I can remember a lot of these young people can't remember. We remember when the internet first came out. There was a lot of speculation. It was just a fad. It wasn't going to
Yeah.
stick around. It wasn't going to,
Mm-hmm.
But then when it started progressing before the .com bubble in the 80s or in the late 90s, people were sitting there starting to get on board with everything. And, it's the reason why the .com bubble
Yeah.
happened. Um, they realized it was a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, nothing has really changed. I mean, I'm a Gen Xer. You're a Gen Xer.
Yep.
So we grew up in a different timeline and a different way of life than what people I think the new kids that are coming up. I was talking to my wife about this the other night. It's like I think the new kids that are coming up in the generation, like the ones that are hitting middle school and high school
Mm-hmm.
this coming years, I think they're the new Gen Xers because I've seen a lot of them. I've seen more kids out playing, than I have in years
Yeah.
outdoors playing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of see that around my area too, a little bit. Like kids are out more. Um, but I definitely know that with I know raising my kids being a Gen Xer myself, raising my kids, yes, did I want them to go outside more? Sure. I didn't get that from my kids because one, I was just whatever doing with them. whatever in my life. I just always felt that it was easier for them to be home, be gaming. I knew where they were. They weren't out being thugs. They weren't out being gangsters. They weren't out doing drugs. They were home. They were gaming. That's all. And I
Yeah.
knew they were home. I knew they were safe. And I was okay with that. I remember like my youngest son's father, he really hated that our son gamed. He didn't like it. Well, I've always been a gamer since
Mhm.
Nintendo, Atari, all that,
Oh, yeah.
Super Mario, early games. I've always been a gamer. I was a very young mom. I had my first son when I was 14. So therefore, I was still a gamer. I would literally put my little kid, and I was a little kid, in front of the TV. Here, hold on to this controller and push the buttons. And I would push the buttons with him. And guess what? To this day, that kid is 33 years old, and we still fucking game together. To this damn day,
That's awesome.
we were just gaming actually a couple weekends ago, not long ago, but literally my kids were my youngest, I guess you can call him a millennial. Don't know what you want to call my oldest because he's kind of like in like right after the Gen Xers, but not
Mm,
a early. I don't know what you call him,
yeah.
what that is. I'm so not with the
No.
terms all the time. But he they literally were born early enough to where they got all the good stuff from me. They know all the good movies. They know all the good shit, but they didn't experience having to be outside and being kicked out because I literally couldn't come home for hours because my parents would kick us out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they claimed that was the only way they could clean the house. What do you mean you were up there doing cocaine and smoking weed? Liars.
Yeah. A lot of times that's how they got us out of the house. It's just like,
Exactly.
you want to be in the house? Fine. Here's a broom. Here's a dust mop. Nope. We're going to go outside and play.
Mm-hmm.
Just call us when food's ready.
Yep. All they had to give us each was $5, and that would make us last the whole day
I know,
back
right?
then. We'd go to the candy store, probably spend like $2 at the candy store, get some candy, and then we go up to the boardwalk, maybe buy a hot dog, and we were good.
And the arcades.
In the arcades would
I miss
cost you
it.
25 cents. Actually, we're 25 cents.
Yeah. I remember what people classify, date night nowadays is just like, I don't even know what date night is nowadays. It's like
Well, I
texting
don't
each other.
know. Date night for Eric and I, we usually will go out to dinner and then come home and game. So I don't know. But to be fair, I don't know if I've not talked about this a whole lot, but the way we met was through a game. We're both big gamers,
That's
which
cool.
works so really good for the both of us because so this is my gaming office. I have my
Mhm.
entire whole office for me. He has his own little setup, like right on the side of the living room. There's a little old computer on the corner, and we're happy with this. Like, we can't sit next to each other. We're both too loud. We're both too much of a gamers. I do my thing. He knows this. It's how he met me. He met me doing exactly what I'm doing now.
And
So
I've seen a lot of relationships bloom out of gaming. I mean, I really have seen more structured relationships born out of gaming than I have out
that's
of like the
funny.
dating sites and stuff like that.
That's so funny you say that because I think I did a dating site once. I think I tried it after my ex-husband left me. I think I did Plenty of Fish, I think it was.
Mm.
And I tried it and I met one guy, which turned out to be a really nice guy. He was shorter than me, which was weird because I'm only 5 foot fucking three. Um,
Oh, geez.
right. And he was not a bad looking guy, really nice guy, really romantic, and to me threw me off because even like today, like I'm not the biggest. I don't even watch like girly movies. I'm not like I'm a horror girl. Like give me blood and guts and gore and some tits and ass and I'm good. Like I don't need the Notebook. You know what I mean? I'm just not that type of girl. And Eric, I think, kind of appreciates that because he's not that type of guy at all. Like he's not romantic, which is fine. I don't need that shit. I just never have been that type of person.
Yeah. I know I get into that with my wife because I don't know what romantic is. I've always just hung out and, it's just like, because me and my wife, we grew up together the same went to the same high school and everything else. We
Oh,
didn't
so
get
we're high
together
school
till you,
sweethearts.
yeah, well, not really. We were just on,
Mm.
we were on opposite sides, I was the band geek and everything else, and the troublemaker, and
Mhm.
she was the cheerleader and everything else in high school. So she hung with the sports crowd. I hung with the stoners and everything else, the ones that went
Yeah.
out and partied every weekend. Um, but the fact of the matter is, because we met like we got back, we got together. Well, we've been together 14 years this year,
Oh,
15 years
nice.
this year. But it's just like we didn't talk to each other. I mean, we knew each other, seen each other and stuff like that
Mhm.
in passing, but we never really got into anything. But
Yeah.
so it was kind of crazy getting together. But what I was trying to say is just like, uh, having that bond with gaming and stuff like that. I think that, and having the similar, I mean, our relationships works because she does her thing, I do my thing, but we still
Mhm.
do ours,
Right.
whenever we have time to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the gaming situation and anything which you have a common interest in, it's really good. And that's why I'm saying I think the gaming, I've seen more positive gaming relationships than I have through what I've seen through dating, what, people that I know through dating
Yeah,
sites
and
and
I
stuff
think
like
a
that.
lot of that is because we like if you're both gamers, you understand if your one of your partner's gaming and you can't talk to them or call them and they're like, I can't talk to you right now. We don't get mad about that because we kind
Mhm.
of unless it's urgent, which is completely different. But like, I don't get mad. Like, if he can't listen to me for a second because he's gaming, okay, then when you're done, come talk to me. I have something to say.
Mhm.
I guess I think we both understand that in an aspect, and not only that, he met me when I was a streamer. I was a full on streamer, so he knows when I'm streaming. He doesn't come in here and pester me and bother me. He'll come say something, and I'm like, oh no, say, oh here's Eric, blah blah blah, blah, you know. But he doesn't. He's so fully supportive, which I've seen some relationships that don't go so well when it comes to
Yeah.
streaming. But what I think what worked really well with the both of us is I lived in California, he lived in Baltimore, Maryland when we first met. So
Oh,
when
cool.
that was really challenging, but the great thing about that though is that we spent a lot of our time in an Xbox party. That is
Mm,
building an emotional connection. We're talking, we're getting to know each other, we're
yep.
gaming, we're having conversations that maybe most people don't have face to face or on a date. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily build those when you're going on dates and when you're doing things like that. So we built in a massive emotional connection over months and months before we even met face to face. So when we finally met face to face, it was, boom, an explosion like of everything. So that was nice. And then we were like, oh, we can't live without each other. Gotta move in with each other. So, which I ended up moving out here to be with him, which was great. And I don't regret that. I just miss my kids because my kids live on the West Coast. And that's the
Mm.
hardest part. Granted, yes, they're adults, but that don't mean I don't miss my babies.
Oh, definitely.
So, but the one thing is not only did I have their blessing about me moving out here, but I knew that they would be okay because I raised them myself. I
Yeah.
knew that they would be fucking good.
Yeah.
So that's what made things a little bit easier for me to move out here. But yeah, like you said, we definitely built up that bond because of that. We built up that gamer bond. Like, we understand that gamer that need to game, and we don't give each other shit for it.
Yeah. No, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. My wife does that. I mean, she get irritated every once in a while. That's the reason why, a lot of things I cut back on. But I only do things when she's got other things,
Yeah,
her things to do.
yeah.
But no, I mean that's great. I'm great that worked out for you. Like I said, it's great to see different relationships. I mean, not just romantic relationships. I mean, just
I
friend
mean, friendships,
relationships.
yeah. Like I said, I have my man friendships and my woman friendships that I built over like the last 7, 8 years, who I still stay strong with. We talk
Mm,
every day, or maybe not even talk every day. I have some good friends that I've been friends with, let's say 5, 6 years. We may not talk every day, but when we do talk, we have that amazing conversation, that one conversation that you just need to have to know things are okay. You touch bases with each other and you're good, but you don't need to talk every day because you know where you stand with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I literally love those types of friendships. because I don't like the pressure of having a friendship where why don't you check in with me today? Well, how come you but like bro, you're an adult. You're an adult. Like I don't expect people to check in with me every day or all the time. I'm an adult. I'm gonna carry my own goddamn weight,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, emotionally, financially, whatever it is. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah. And I mean, I do see a lot of that in the gaming side of things
Oh
too. You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
I see a lot of emotional support. They need the emotional support. You know, it's just like, and
Some
nothing bad
people,
against that. I
no,
mean,
there's nothing bad. No, there's
don't get me
not.
wrong. Yeah,
There's not. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you feel like you have to constantly be liked, you need to reach into yourself, do some self-help, and like yourself first.
yeah,
You need to like and love yourself first before wanting and accepting all this shit from other people because that can come and go like that.
yeah.
And we all know
Especially
that. We've all experienced that.
especially in this industry.
Exactly. And I'm living proof of that right now as I'm trying to build back up in this business. It's not easy. It's cutthroat fucking business. Like
Yeah,
you're there or you're not. 100%.
yeah, and yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, because I mean, I've lost people. I mean, for the most part, I'm one of these that have like a tight knit community, so I try to stay in touch with people. But just like the people like this is a comment from the grind sultan or whatever. It's just like, come on, it's just like, I mean, he left a comment on one of my videos. It's like, dude, you just got to be pleasant. I mean, if you want to strike up if you want to strike up friendships and conversations like we're talking about, and
Yeah.
having these long terms, you gotta get away from the negativity.
Yeah, you do. And you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like you can't get butt hurt for every shitty or stupid comment or every troll that comes in. They come in and they say these things because they want a reaction from you.
Mhm.
They want something from you. And if you give it to them, they win.
Yeah.
They win. So for me, when I deal with the troll, like I just recently had in my stream recently, saying some really rude and stupid shit, I was like, "Love you, bye.
Yeah.
Love you, bye.
Oh yeah, I
You're
kept
not gonna get shit from me anymore. It's not happening."
kill them with kindness.
Yes, I love you. Bye. I will pray for you, friend. I'm gonna pray for you. How about that?
No, I always sit there and it's just like when I get trolls in. I mean, that's a good conversation. That's a good topic, trolls, because I know we've
Cool.
all been through it. We've been through the hate raids. We've been through, a lot of these new streamers that are coming up and trying to make a name for themselves.
Mhm.
They weren't in the whole hate raid, especially for women. I mean, women really got the hate raids
I've
bad.
had it once in my entire stream career. One hate rate,
Oh,
which is impressive because
yeah,
it could happen a lot. Especially being me, I'm an older Latina female. I get picked on quite often. It's fucked up. You wouldn't
why is
think so.
that?
I don't know. I don't know. It used to happen a lot when I first started Kick.
The funny thing is, I love people that have like the spice. Those are the streams that I'm attracted to. The ones that have
Yeah,
the spiciness and the
right,
everything else to it.
right.
You
So
know it.
like I like literally I am not gonna change who I am, but I have changed who I am, but I haven't. I'm still the same old Dima. I recently did a bunch of self-help, um, personal soul searching, personal growth, things I had to do when I stepped away from stream. Even before I stepped away from stream, I read books, I did some little courses and shit here that I had to do, but I was not in a good um, love myself mental place.
Mhm.
I didn't love myself entirely because I was on my way there, but I wasn't there yet. Um, and I feel like if you're not there, especially in this industry, if you can't at least love yourself, how the hell do you expect all these people to love you too?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You're
Uh,
you're you're gonna sit there and just do this. Woe was me. I'm so sad. Somebody help me. Which I've been there. That's why I'm saying this. I'm not saying this to be an asshole or to pick on anybody because I've been there. I've been that person. Like, help me. I don't know what to do. Like literally. I've been that. That gets
oh,
you nowhere.
I used to be one of those that I had to. I thought I had to be politically correct. I guess
Hmm.
what they say now. And then a good friend of mine that I met through, organizations and stuff like that that I was a part of. We're still friends today. We figured it out. It's been about 5 years now that we've been friends. We've actually
Yeah.
met each other. We went to a conference, or we went to Loot Fest um, last year before last, in Dallas, and that was the first time we met each other, and it was kind of cool. Yes,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best towards the end of the weekend we were there. Didn't end up being the best overall, but I mean, for the most part, it was a good thing to meet him and meet some of the other people. But yeah, I mean, and I used to be, like I said, one of these people that I watched what I said, especially like with all the woke stuff going on. Um,
Oh, don't get me
you had
started.
you had to really watch, and I didn't know because, like I said, it's just like I try to explain to people. It's like, dudes, I call everybody dude.
So
Doesn't
do
matter
I.
if you're male or
So do
female.
I. That's
You're
funny. So
dude.
do I. And the way I spell it is DOOODE.
So it's just like, don't get butthurt. I call everybody dude. It doesn't
Same.
matter,
And
especially
everybody
on
bro.
this.
I call
Yeah,
everybody bro and dude. I don't care what your gender is. It has nothing
yeah.
to do with your gender.
So, it's just like when doing interviews, I literally stopped doing interviews because I didn't know how to approach people.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really hard to approach people
Well, we're in a
because,
sensitive era these days.
yeah,
You can't say anything to anybody. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. I support anybody. I don't care who you want to be, what you want to be. That is literally, I will support you till my little heart stops beating. But listen, you can't force that on me either. You can't force me to use proper pronouns if you're not going to present in the proper pronouns.
yeah, exactly.
Like I see this TikToker, I don't know if I want to say their name, but bro, listen, I have my sis who I love to the day I die, who's a trans woman, and I love her to the day I die. But listen, and this has nothing to do with her, but this one person I watch on TikTok, and she gets really pissed when she gets misgendered. Well, you're not gendering, you're not looking the part. That's why.
Yeah. And that's what I always said.
You're not looking, if you're not looking the part, what do you expect from people? We're just human too. We're
Yeah.
calling it as we see it, not to be rude, not to hate on you, because I would never hate on anybody at all. I'm 100% supportive of all people, but I'm going to call what I see with my eyes and
Yep.
my ears.
Yep.
I'm human, just like you are.
Yeah. It's just like I used to get called out for not using correct pronouns. And I'm like, well, one, you don't have anything in your bios or anything else when I go to talk to you that you are being called that. So how am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
I literally asked, and I was being serious when I first asked. I go, "Is there a handbook?" I go, "If you all have a handbook, share the link or send me it or something so I
Yeah.
understand what's going on." Because I'm from a generation that didn't give a shit about what's going on. If you did what you want to do, you were fine. You did what you did, nobody
Oh
problem.
my God, no kidding. And real quick, let me just talk about that real quick. So when I was really little, probably, mm, so my I'm about 5 years older than my brother. My brother was about three, so I was probably about 8 or 9. My grandmother remarried a man who had a child who ended up being a drag queen. And he
Mm,
would dress up constantly in front of us. And he would also dress up my little brother in dresses, which as a kid I thought was funny and cute because I'm just over here 9, 10 years old. Didn't think a fucking thing about it. And didn't affect my brother at all because he's still straight as shit. At least I think I think he is. It didn't affect my brother at all. I don't even think he remembers because he was like 3. Um, but to me, I didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, oh, this is funny. This is cute. He was so sweet to us, treated us with the most up respect, was so nice to us, wasn't weird. You know what I mean? But my grandmother ended up 86ing him because she found out who he truly was. And which really broke my heart because I'm like, what do you mean? He was such an important role and lovely person in my life, but you just took that away because you didn't like it. It
yeah.
really hurt me a lot. And so later in life, I was like, I'm never going to be judgmental. I'm never going to be that person. I'm never going to hate somebody because of who they are. And I'm still that person to this day. I
Hmm.
just don't like it to be forced on me.
Exactly.
I don't want it to be forced on me. That's the only thing I ask. Like, I will accept you 1,000, a million percent. Just don't force that shit on me.
Well, and that's what I try. That's one of the things I try to talk to people, and a few of my friends. I've finally, I think I've got them to understand. It's like because they're younger than me, so it's like
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is, it's like so you got to realize it's like yes, we had gay friends in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know they were gay,
Because
because
they couldn't talk about it.
yeah, it wasn't that. But the fact of the matter, we knew we had in the back of our
Yeah.
heads that they
We
were
kind of
gay, but
knew. Yeah.
the fact of the matter that you know they didn't come out because, like you said, the time, the air. Oh my gosh, my dogs.
They're not bothering me unless you're worried about your stream. They're not bothering me. It doesn't bother me. I don't care that they bark. Like, they're not even that loud. They're really not even that loud.
Oh, really? They're like
Yeah.
loud as shit in my
I
ear.
don't think they're that loud.
Okay.
Somebody else is bothered by a dog barking, that's their problem. It's just a
No.
dog.
Yeah. Uh,
It's not bothering me.
but no, it's just like no, it drown so
I
I can
know it.
hear them in
Yeah,
my ear, so it like
you
drowns me
can't
out.
think. Yeah, I know. Calm down, puppies.
But no, it's just like we had gay friends, and I still they're still my friends today, and they
Right.
actually have partners and everything else.
Yeah.
They're living perfect lives,
Yeah.
but and they're not on. I guess like I said, if you want to call it woke, they're not on the woke side of things. They're on
Right.
because I think social media has going back to the whole thing with social media and advertising and everything else and influencing. TikTok was a bit. I like TikTok because it is a good way to get people together, and I don't think it
Oh, for
should be
sure.
banned. Because I think the only reason it's a political agenda to get it banned. It has nothing
Right.
to do with
It's
Chinese
always been
stealing our
political.
information.
Yep.
Because it's like, what information are they going to steal from me? Because the only thing they have is my email and my phone number. You know,
What don't those real quick, but don't these other platforms have the rest of our information? Like the fuck?
Facebook is the worst. I mean, if you want to, like I said, we've deep dived into Facebook and the history of Facebook. It's crazy how much information that the government had controlled before Facebook came around. But that's a whole
Fucking
different
meta.
thing. Um, but no, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm down. It's just it doesn't matter. I'm like you. It's just like I used to watch RuPaul.
I love
Growing up,
RuPaul.
I love it. But there's a difference, and that's just it. There's a difference between being a drag queen, and there's a difference between what you're seeing on the internet today. There is a big difference,
Yep. There
and
is.
even that community says there's a big difference, and they're
Well,
fighting for it.
not only that, you don't know who's doing it for clout, or you don't know who's
Yeah,
doing it for clout. You don't
exactly.
know who's doing it to rev up the, left or right. You don't know who's doing it to be sincere. Like, I follow a couple of amazing trans women on TikTok who are like realists, and they clown on Lily Tino because they believe that Lily Tino is sent in just to fuck with the community, like to fucking give trans a
Oh,
bad name.
there's a lot of those
So, and I'm like, why would you do that to your own fucking community? Why would you do that? It
because they're
makes
getting
no
paid.
sense. Like, okay, great. You're getting paid to be a piece of shit.
Hmm.
I love that for you. How
Yeah.
do you sleep at night? You don't. I'm sure you don't. You got to take that fucking, you got to take them Xanax, don't you?
But no, that's just it. It's just like a lot of these people you hear and see on. So it's just like going back to the whole transgender thing. The whole you notice it's kind of disappearing, and I knew it was going to because
Sure.
it's a fad. I mean, it started disappearing like right before the end of last year, right before the election, right in the middle of the election. It started disappearing.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the internet fad, because the internet changes faster than the news cycle. That's the reason why I think people like all the major ones like CNN, NS, MSNBC, all of those, they want to get rid of TikTok. They want to get rid of X
because
because
they're
they're
being spread
changing the
out
way
real
we
good. Yes,
yeah,
I
they're changing
know.
the way we get our news and the way we start to
Exactly.
think.
You
They're
know, funny thing you say that because when I'll pop on TikTok, I'm like, what do you mean the fucking what's his Phil fucking Duck Dynasty died? I didn't know
yeah,
that. What do you and that's how I'm getting my fucking news. I
yeah.
open up TikTok. I'm like, what do you mean? Phil passed away. Oh
TikTok
my
and
god.
X. Yep.
That literally broke my heart though the other day. I was like, why?
And little podcasts, even though we're little, but little podcasts like this that do get, certain, because I've noticed it's like when I do things, certain videos get pushed out because nobody's covering it. And that's what I try to do. I try to cover topics that nobody's covering,
Yeah,
because are important, what I think is important,
yeah.
so.
So you said that you got really political for a little bit.
Oh
Does
God.
that
Yeah.
so was that hurting your content or hurting
Um,
your social media?
no, I mean, so it just depends. I mean,
Yeah.
because
I was just curious about that because when I would get political, people are like,
yeah,
I'm
the
like,
game
oh my God,
now,
calm
yeah,
down.
I lost all my gaming content. My gaming side. I mean, I still have a few. I still have a few that follow me, but they.
Yeah.
I don't think they like pay attention to what I do. I think they shut off notifications, but they still follow me
Hmm.
because they know. And that's one thing I always. That's one thing, and I stress that to everybody. I mean, I think we stressed this earlier. It's like be authentic, be true to yourself, be
Yeah.
you. Don't be fake. Don't be somebody that you're
And
not.
don't use a Snapchat filter.
Exactly.
Please don't do that.
Or a TikTok
Because
filter. Yeah.
because here's the thing. Well, I did it the first time I streamed because I didn't realize I had a filter on. But I don't do it anymore. Anyways, the thing about using a filter, one, it can glitch. It can glitch and make you look like you have a wonky eye or whatever.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that too. When you decide you want to go to like let's say a convention, let's say DreamHack,
Mhm.
people are gonna look at you like that's not that's not what I thought she looked like and then walk that way. Like you need like who cares if you have a little wrinkle? You have like who gives a shit? It's part of life, and if you can't embrace that, then you are not doing this right. You're not doing this right. Embrace your beauty, embrace your flaws, embrace your wrinkles, embrace everything, embrace your flab. Like literally, if you don't, then that's where you're like I feel like that's where mental stability starts to suffer if you can't embrace what you actually look like on camera and you start to use these filters and then you go to these fucking like shows and people are like that's not what you look like, bro. Why do you think that you're using a filter?
Yeah. And I've got to say, I think most of the people I've met in person, you know, so when I went to Lou Fest, the only reason why I went to Lou Fest because my ultimate goal was to, for some odd reason, I don't know why, but I wanted to meet BB Jess.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know who she is.
So I
I'm
got
a
to
big
meet BB
fan.
Jess,
Mm.
and it's just like, okay, I met her. I'm done. Okay, now on with the day. It was no big thing. I didn't like ooh and ah over her. I didn't like follow her around. I didn't stalk her. I didn't do any of that. I got my hug from her. I said
Yeah,
hi. I got everything else.
yeah.
That's all, even though I think it was just like I don't think she was expecting the hug because it was first thing on a Saturday morning. But the fact of the matter, it was it was kind of nice to meet these people that you see and realize, like you said, they're real. What you see on stream is what you get in real life, so.
Yep, exactly. Because like even like I've met like some of my friends who are streamer friends and we've met each other in real life and like even though I'm like bitch your camera did not do you justice, you look so much better today. So you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you don't know, you just don't know. And so for me I look at my camera like where I sit now, I'm like it looks great but I think I look better off camera. I really do. I'll look at my
Oh,
mirror. I'll pull out my mirror. I'm like, where's my mirror? And then I look at my makeup and I'm like, that looks so much better than it does on camera. It's so
yeah.
weird. It's so weird. And I'm not even, you can see I'm not even using a filter.
Do better. Oh. All right, Grind Sultan.
Do better and move your content to the correct place.
What? Okay, so I mean, what is the correct content? I mean, you're on Rumble. There is no correct content.
And first of all, why do you care?
Is it hurt? Are we stealing your views?
Did we take one of your viewers? Did that hurt you in the gut hole?
And why are you yelling? You need to
I,
learn to quit using cap locks.
I guarantee you're gonna be fine. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, the grind sultan. Do you have a palace where you live? I'm just curious. I like to live in a palace.
But hey, you know what? Like we were talking about earlier, it's just like negative content. Yes, we know sells, but you know what? You're not gonna get the negativity. You're just gonna get the sarcasm because, like I said, that's what we were raised on. And sorry, you're just gonna get it.
Yeah, I'm a big sarcastic fucking bitch. So if you are gonna come at me with some weird comment, you're just gonna get some sarcasm, or you're gonna get a big fuck you from me because I don't care.
Yeah,
I really don't care.
and I think that's what I think a lot of people need to get to that point in time. I think that will change your content if you stop caring about what other people do and
Yep.
worry about how you handle your content.
Yep.
Then
That makes a huge difference. Like I said, I don't chase people who aren't here. If you want to be here, that's amazing, and I appreciate that. But
yes,
I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'm
we love
I'm
that
not
you're here.
I'm not chasing anybody. Like I'll get people like, how come you didn't tell me you were playing this? Listen, it's not that I don't mind messaging you, but when I got a million things going on, like behind the streams of streaming, there's a lot going on. I'm not gonna necessarily get a chance to message you to be like,
Yeah.
guess what? I'm gaming. You want to come play? No. Like I can't all the time. I'm overwhelmed by what I'm doing in my on my fucking screen. I'm like, even though I've been doing this 8 years, I still get nervous from time to time when I hit that stream live button, start stream button.
that's why she. That's why she asked me. She's like, "Can I take some drinks on stream?" And it's like, "Oh, dude, I've got a drink on my every stream. I because that was one of the biggest things. The reason why I had to step back is because I think it was literally turning me into an alcoholic. Because
Right? Trovo did.
if I don't have a couple of beers to loosen me up or a couple of shots to loosen me up, I am really dull.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm dull because I feel like I do a really good job either
Oh,
way.
you
But
do, yeah.
when I'm nervous, when I don't know what to expect, sometimes I will do that. I'm like, I need a couple of drinks to relax. I don't know what to expect.
Now, disclaimer: that doesn't mean y'all need to go out and start drinking to be
Right.
more. No, no, I'm not saying that. It's just we are 21. We're adults. It's just what we do. You know, but I mean, but no, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know.
Look at her face.
I mean, if you technically think about it, it's just like some of the things we're talking about. A lot of the things we're talking about tonight could help gamers in the long run because if
They
you
could.
quit giving a shit what other people think about you and quit giving a shit. I mean, it's just like going back to the day. What was it? It was like it was what 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, maybe I don't know. The time just kind of disappears. But
Right.
where the whole $5 streamers came out, they were complaining. You remember seeing those posts where people were complaining about, it only costs $5 to donate to my stream, and I sit here and do
Oh
all this
yeah.
work for $5, $5, and it's just like it was that one chick that was like sitting in her like duvet or whatever and sitting back, and it's just like it's only costs $5, and it's like, yeah, but your content shit,
Your content shit for $5, bro.
I mean, you're not it. I mean, I'm not. I don't care if you want to become a bikini streamer. Become a bikini streamer.
Right.
If you want to, I mean, I've seen guys. It was kind of funny because when Twitch did that whole thing with requiring bikini streamers to be under that content guide or that content tag or whatever,
Yeah.
you had guys literally mocking that whole thing and literally setting up hot tubs or pools in their fucking back streaming area.
I've seen that.
The guys were doing it, and there was one guy that made like we figured it out. We were watching him for like an hour, and we figured he made like almost $3,000 that night in subs.
Just from sitting in a fake background?
Yeah,
Dang. Where's my
he
hold
was
on.
in a he was in
Looking
a
up
big.
hot tub backgrounds now. Just kidding.
But yeah, but it was just funny. It's just like, the things that people, but that was content. He did. That's not something. I mean, I think he continued to do it for a little while longer just
Yeah.
because it was the thing. But you know, content is content. It changes. It changes literally on an hourly basis. I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
lie.
Changes all the time.
I mean, if you're not up on your market trends, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Content creation is, there's probably 0.01% of the people that actually pay attention to everything that's going on.
Yeah, you're right. And I feel like I don't pay attention to half the shit that's going on, and I try really hard.
It's hard to because it
It
changes
really
constantly.
is. It really is. Like like we've talked about. It's not the same like it used to be.
Yeah.
I don't. It's never gonna be the same. There's never going to be another mixer. There's never going to be, I mean, we can't say that, but even if there is, it's never going to be the same. People have gravitated, they've gone their own ways, they're doing their own thing. They had to figure out their own shit since Mixer died. People are losing their fucking shit still since Mixer died.
Yeah.
Let me pin this on my fucking top board because I was a Mixer partner. Bro, get over it. Move on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you move on from that, you actually might find your niche. You
Yeah.
might find where you succeed if you can actually move on.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. People don't. They're so stuck on what I used to be. And
Yeah.
that causes stress, that causes mental health illness. Like, you need to focus in the present moment. Figure out your shit, figure out the moment. Don't live in the past. Don't worry about the future.
Perfect clippable moment.
I'm just saying, it's life lessons right there. Like,
No.
if I like, so the reason why I say this is because I was a person who constantly worried about the future. So I went through a point in my life where I couldn't figure out how to pay my rent. So I would fucking stress out of how my rent was going to get paid in 6 months. Why was I doing that? For
Yeah.
like 6 months down the road? Why? So therefore, the experience, all that shit just came into play. Like, you can't worry about that shit tomorrow. Worry about the present moment. The present moment is what's gonna benefit you today than tomorrow.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, that's one of the things that, I hate to pick on you, Grind Sultan, but I mean, you did like wave the flag. But, I mean, if you're struggling to get views and everything else, I mean, yeah, great. I'm looking at your page on Rumble right now. Rumble's like promoting gaming content a lot more, but you got to realize Rumble was built on conservative political content. It's going to take more. It's going to take a long time for somebody to actually make it big streaming on Rumble. I've seen a lot of
Yep.
people. It's just like, oh, I'm going to move to Rumble because they do that. I mean, I've been in the partner program. I'm in the partner program now for the second time
Oh,
because the
on
partner,
Rumble?
yeah, because the partner program on Rumble is kind of like Trovo. You have to hit the matrix or you don't get it
Yeah.
the next month. And right now it's just like I'm not even streaming on what I need to be to get that matrix, but because I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, or the content, whatever the content creator or program or whatever it's called over there. Um, but no, it's just like people like this. It's like, yes, I mean, you've got some decent views for gaming content on Rumble, on your videos, but your follower count's a little low. You need to start doing some more marketing. You need to market yourself. You need to become more. I'm trying to be nice, even though
No,
you've
I
been
mean, no, you're
salty.
right. You're right. No, you're right. If you're not at least, so I have a pet peeve with people when they go live, they don't at least post their link. Like, when you say link in bio, why are you going to make your viewers do all these fucking steps?
Yeah.
Just post your link. It doesn't take long. It takes you 30 seconds to get that whole entire post together. Just post your link, let people know where you are, let people know you're here, and be consistent about it. Like, that's where I strived a long time in the past. Like, I was consistent. I don't post a post without my link. I don't post a post without letting people know what I'm doing, how I'm doing, when I'm doing it. I think it's super important that you're posting constantly where you're going to be because like that's part of networking.
Yeah.
Like I said, I struggle with networking with people. So when I go to a streamer's live, I struggle with networking, especially if I don't know you, if I've never met you before. I get really, really PTSD. Oh my god. Like I really and I shouldn't. I shouldn't because I'm in a different place today, but I do. I can't help that. I went through a lot of stuff before I quit streaming as far as dealing with other streamer friends or acquaintances. Um, with if I'm gonna be 100% blunt, um, finding out that you're friends with somebody for 5 or 6 years and seeing all the shit they talked about you from somebody else. Like imagine somebody you were friends with 5 or 6 years and you were sent a slew of messages that all they did was talk shit about you. All they did for that whole time. They were jealous of you. They didn't like your numbers. They didn't like this. And then you get to see that displayed in front of you. What do you do with that? What I did with that is I walked the fuck away. I picked up my bags, I walked away, decided to do my own thing, which initially I benefited from so much. Like when I went to do my own thing before I quit, this is when I was still on Kick, I was doing amazing. I felt like I was going to get this Kick verification. I was there, but I couldn't take Kick no more. I couldn't take the bull. I got bullied so bad.
That's
So
crazy.
bad. I was getting DMs. I was getting messages so bad about people that I was friends with, people that I did this with. Like it I just couldn't take it anymore. So I quit Kick. I was like, fine, I'm done with this place. It's not benefiting me. Great. I love the revenue split. It's amazing. But why am I focused on a revenue split? Like I should focus on community. So I left Kick, went to strictly Twitch, which I did fucking amazing. I was averaging like 30 people
Hmm.
ish, doing great. Like I wasn't worried about metrics, I wasn't worried about numbers, I wasn't worried about viewers, I wasn't worried about revenue. I was doing phenomenal. Um, but at the same time, I wasn't doing as good financially as I wanted to. So I knew it was time to get a job. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of relying on streaming income. I've been doing this for 8 now. I'm tired of it. I need something steady. So I got my job, and like I just said not long ago, that I had a like I struggled with balancing all of
Hmm.
that, all of it, and that's why I had to take a step back. And now I feel like I'm back and I'm stronger, and I need people to see that. Like I'm stronger than I was back then. Like I can handle that. I can handle anything you throw at me at this
Yeah.
point. Like I'm stronger. 100%. I found me. And I couldn't find me when I was on, let's say, stream teams. I couldn't find me when I felt like
Oh God.
somebody was the leader over me. I
Yep.
couldn't find myself when when the leader of my stream team was so mad because I was hanging out with so and so, or because I was doing something with so and so. Like I couldn't find myself. I couldn't break out of that until I left all that. And like to this day, people probably don't know necessarily the whole story of why I left because I've never talked about it publicly. But if I'm going to say anything 100% honest, I had to leave Only Nerds because it became toxic for me really bad. They became toxic for me. And not mentioning names, just mentioning a team.
Yeah.
They became toxic for me really bad.
I think that's crazy because I was in the same predicament too. Because when I first started, I thought that's what you had to do. You had to jump, and I don't recommend this to anybody. I do not recommend stream teams. I do not
Nope,
recommend. I
don't do
don't.
it.
I recommend building your Discord community
Yep,
and creating a community through Discord, and then creating friendships through Discord
yep.
or in other people's streams without without doing the unspoken rule of promoting your stream.
Or
But
expectation.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
don't have expectation. Like, go into it with fluid fun. Don't have expectation. That's what's going to kill you. 100%, that's what's going to kill you. If you have expectation and you think you're going to get into this business because it's going to make you famous, it's going to make, no. It might, sure, it might. It might, some people, you might do great. And some people, you do amazing. But it's not for everybody. It's not a huge expectation anybody should have.
Yeah. And I think that's what kills a lot of people. I think a lot of
Hmm.
people do because again, they look back on all these streamers that are hitting the
Yep.
200, 300, 400, 500,000s,
And that's
10,000s.
and that's inspiring,
Yeah.
but they have done something special to get to that place. You got
You,
to find that space.
I'm not saying that you can't hit those numbers, but you need to quit trying to use them as the
A
poster
reason.
child
Yeah.
of your existence on the streaming network.
Well, not only that, because you do something a little bit different than they do. So you got to find where you stand in that position. Like
Yeah.
where what you do with your content, make that the prize. Make that the reason people want to come see you. Like I'm still finding my place. Like I know I do like specific things and it's been a while since people have been around, but I'm still going to push it. I'm still going to keep doing it. Whether I have two, three, four people in there, I don't care. I'm still going to keep doing it because eventually, the more I keep doing that, the more I stay consistent. It that two, three people will end up to 30, 40 people eventually.
Yeah, and I think with the political climate, not like I said, I mean, whether you want to believe it or not, politics affects everybody's life.
It does. It's affected my life big time. Once people knew who I voted for during this last election, I can't tell you how many people I lost, or like, I can't believe, like, literally, we are in the land of the free, the home of the brave. How are you going to tell me I can't vote for somebody? The fuck? That's my right. That's my freedom. But
but
when I vote for your side, it's different, right?
oh
It's
yeah, yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter what side. It's on both sides on both sides of the aisle because
Oh,
if you
yeah, absolutely.
because it's like one thing people say to me is, "Oh, you're MAGA." It's like, no, I'm not MAGA. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not Independent. I'm not Libertarian. I'm not Green Party. I'm not
Exactly. I
any
vote
of
for the
these.
person who I think is going to do good for our country,
You
is what
know,
I do.
and I mean, and that's the same thing with like streaming and stuff like that, and content creation and everything else. That's one thing I've learned. That's one thing that content creation
Yeah.
has taught me is to stop giving a shit what everybody else thinks
Yep. I actually recently got better about that
because
because
you're
I've always,
not going to please everybody.
exactly, and I've always been the I don't give a fuck type of person, but I feel like I've gotten better with that as I've gone through this whole self-help, whatever you want to call it. I feel like I've gotten better, but I still am a Sagittarius. I still have this weird empathic emotional fucking bullshit that I wish I could make disappear, but I can't because it's part of my personality. But to be fair, I've got, like I said, I've gotten better. I honestly will take somebody's emotions and I stop making it part of my energy and will try to understand where they're coming from versus
Mhm.
trying to make it my energy, which is really hard to do for me because everybody's energy becomes my energy 100% off the bat. And that's one thing I've been struggling with for years. It's like, how do I take this energy and make it to something different? And I've been trying so hard to do that because I can't deal with a lot of people these days because it affects me so hard.
Well, I mean, talking about that, I mean, you described something, about, being basically stabbed in the back and talked about behind your back and everything else.
Yes.
I mean, that's one thing. And like I said, this is not a deterrence from getting into this space because it doesn't matter. Content creation is content creation.
Yeah.
It's not gaming. It's not podcasting. It's not IRL. It's content creation. That is
Right.
the umbrella that it's under.
Yeah.
But you do, I mean, that's one thing I found out too, is you do have to realize it is, like she said in the beginning, it is a dog eat dog world. I mean, it's
Mhm.
no different than a corporate job.
Mhm.
No different.
Nope. You got to work just as hard. You got to put in just as amount of work. But the difference is when you actually go to work, you get to check in and clock in for a paycheck. Here, you don't.
Yeah.
So you got to be humble with that. You have to understand that this is going to come, this is not going to come with a paycheck every time. Like I can go stream a whole 5 hour stream and not get paid 1 cent.
Yeah.
So what I take from that is no, I don't take from that like, oh my God, what I gotta do to make more money. I take from what I gotta do to build community. I need community. I need people to see me. I need people to find who I am, know the things that I do. That's what I strive for. Like eventually everything else will come. I've seen that. I've been part of that. But if you don't put in some of the work, it's not gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
I'm constantly posting on Twitter. I'm constantly posting on Snapchat, TikTok, wherever the fuck it takes. I'm constantly posting. And that's what it takes to reach that audience. You got to do it. You got to do the work.
And, and talking about TikTok, you got to realize your platforms too, because
Mhm.
so Kick, Twitch, now Rumble, if you're on the gaming side, if we want to stick to that.
Yeah,
Um,
grind.
but the fact of the matter is, if you're on the gaming platforms, you're gonna have to realize TikTok is a different beast.
Yep. It
TikTok
really fucking is.
TikTok is what you want to classify as IRL. And what okay, before we go any further, one thing I want to stipulate to everybody, and you might disagree with me, and if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But the fact of the matter is, this stuff is not IRL. This is not real life.
Right.
This is social media. This
Mhm.
is a made up content. It is created by you or by other people to do something, but it is not real life. That's
Nope, it's not.
and I fell into that thing. I literally got sucked into that whole thing. It's just like social media is real life. It's even when you see things
Right?
on Twitter, what we were talking about, like with the news, how we get our news. You still gotta have some type of common sense to understand that
Oh,
it might not be
absolutely.
real.
Right. Right, right. No, absolutely. Because I see things all the time and I'm like, is this real? And then I do my own research and diligence to find out if
Yep.
it's real or not. And I think that's really important. Like you can see like a little snippet like on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't do your diligence and you don't do your research, then there goes misinformation and then you're passing out to other people and then bam, rumors start and then here we are.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to watch your mouth.
Yep. I mean, that's even in content creation. I mean, even on Twitch and, Kick now, I mean, Twitch is like, they have a few political, you know, I hate to like, it's not that I hate to go back, because you got to realize it's like, even in content creation, it's political. It
Yeah.
might not be the politics you think politics is, but it's still political.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
still have a
yeah.
hierarchy.
Mhm.
You still have the peasants or whatever you want to call them and everything else, but
Oh yeah.
it's still political no matter where you go,
Absolutely. I agree with
because
that 100%.
Twitch hangs on to their special people, because that's who makes their money. That's politics. If you don't understand politics, that's politics of a platform. Politics of Kick. You have, Eddie going after, like Aiden
Oh yeah.
Ross,
They have their favorites.
XQC. Yeah.
Yep, they have their favorites too.
That's
Yep.
politics.
Yep.
It's just a different, but it's not the government politics, but it is still classified as
Oh.
politics.
Yep. It really is.
So
100%.
so it doesn't matter what you say, I hate politics. Well, if you hate politics, then you hate life, because life is politics.
That's kind of like somebody saying, "I don't show emotions, but you get mad." Bro, but that's an emotion. My so the reason why I say that because my ex-husband used to always say, "I don't show emotions." Because you don't cry, you think you're not showing emotion. Bro, you get mad, you get happy, you get sad. Those guess what?
Hmm.
Those are fucking emotions.
Yep.
All fucking three of them. So just because you don't cry over a situation, that doesn't mean you're not emotional.
Yep.
You just can't cry. And some people were can't cry. And that's who they are. They can't cry. I understand that. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to cry. But like just because you say you don't show an emotion, if you've ever gotten angry, like I said, sad, pissed off, that's all emotion.
Yep.
Happy, guess what? Happy's an emotion.
Happy is an emotion. Smiling.
Smiling's an emotion. If
Yeah.
you get giddy, that's an emotion.
Yeah.
Get pissed off over something your mom said, that's an emotion. So when he would tell me that, I'm like, don't say it. You just because you can't cry. Like, don't say that because you can't cry.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't cry all the time too, but when I'm crying, I'm just a baby.
Yeah.
I'm just a baby.
And that,
Holy
and
crap!
no,
It's 9 o'clock already.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
Holy shit.
We had a good conversation, but
We really did.
um, and I do want this to continue because I don't want to take any more up of your time, but because I know I said 90 minutes, but my podcast never
Oh, I
lasts
didn't
90
even
minutes.
realize. I didn't even realize it's. We've been on for
I
two
know.
hours. No, we've had a great conversation. I feel like we could do this for hours.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this is definitely, like I said, everything we've talked about tonight, even though it's in the gaming content category on Rumble, it still applies to gaming content. It
It
applies to
does.
you as a creator.
It does.
So go back and listen to some of the things she said. She made a lot of good, a lot of good comments, a lot of good, aspects, a lot of good references to how you need to treat this industry. And I think a lot of people don't treat this industry, the gaming industry, the same way as they do just like normal life. Because
Yeah.
yes, no, this is not real life. This is something we do as an escape. I mean, if you want to call
But
it an escape.
But it is real life though. Here's the thing though, like you are escaping to a degree, but you're still talking. You're having one-on-one conversations
Yes.
with people. That is real life. That is a real things that's happening right now. So yes, we can say we go into gaming to escape certain realities. Sure, we do. We all do that. The whole reason a lot of us got into gaming was to escape reality, not have to worry about work, not have to talk about work,
Hmm.
not to talk about that, not to talk about this. Yes, we do that. But when we get into the aspects of community and growing stuff, it goes beyond that because it becomes more than that. It becomes more than relaxing. You have to keep up with that shit. You have to make sure your community is happy. Don't get me wrong, you know that you do. You have to make sure people love you. That's important whether it's real, however you're approaching that, that stays on a true fucking track right there. People have to fucking love you because you get
Hmm.
nowhere without that.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
people don't love you, I don't know, you got kind of nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can understand that aspect of it, but
That's where I struggle too because I'm like, I just need people to love me.
I think a lot of it, and that's just what it is, though. I mean, that's the reason why, like, not to get into a whole different subject because we're not going to do that, but
Right.
it's the fact of the matter is content. Yes, the internet. A lot of people take it as reality.
Oh yeah.
They take gaming as reality, and they shouldn't take it as a reality because that goes back to, like, in my day, anyways, in our day when they used to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and all of these games that were coming up when the actual board games, not the online games that you see now, and not the card games and everything else, it was just dice, and you had somebody actually writing. We had notebooks. We had notebooks of characters that we designed ourselves
Yep.
through imagination and through everything else. What I so when I say that internet's not real life, I mean the fact of the matter is don't let it, I mean, basically don't let it consume you. You have a
Right.
life outside these cameras. You have a life outside these keyboards. Make sure you separate them.
Oh yeah. It's very important. Very important. And not only that, to make life for yourself. Don't make so if I can give any live streaming advice or any streaming advice, period, life and yourself and anyone in your life is always up here. Anything below that, streaming should always come down here.
Yeah.
Always down here. Life, importancy, streaming down here. Like, don't do it the opposite. When
Yeah.
you do it the opposite, then you start neglecting your life, your partners, your pets, your house, you're probably your own cleanliness, bitch. Go take a shower, wash your booty because you've been on stream for fucking 43 hours. You need to take a shower.
We're actually going to be talking about something that on Friday night about a streamer that has been rumored. I mean, we all know him. He's a very popular streamer, but we'll be talking about that on Friday night on the Triple B podcast. But
Oh gosh, I have to come see that.
yeah, well, come join us.
I know. I might have to.
But yeah, but no, I'm going to let you go because we have been on longer than I
Yes.
promised.
No, that's fine.
And but I do love you. I thank you.
Of course.
I am so happy that we got to have this
You've
conversation
been meaning to
because
do this for a while. I
yeah,
know this. I know. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't do it right now, but like it's fine.
it's not just you. Real life happens. The
Yeah.
echelon of real life happens, and it does take effect over everything else. But yes, you're always welcome to join us anytime. You can use that link that I gave you. It
Okay.
pops you into the stream.
Cool.
Well, no, I'll have
Awesome.
to give you another one because this is for a different. So I will give you the other one so you can come in as well.
Awesome. I would love
Um,
to do that. That'd be fun.
but yeah, we just hang out. We have a few drinks. We talk about the Triple B podcast on Friday nights. Wednesday nights and Friday nights is what we do it now because I have one of my regulars, one of my, like you said, friends that I've made a long time ago. She comes in. She can
Yeah.
only do it on Wednesday nights. So we do it on Wednesday nights and Friday nights.
Heck
And
yeah.
for Friday nights is the free for all. That's when we sit back and we really let it go. But we talk about topics in our own way. We debate
Oh
them.
hell yeah. Well, now that I know that, then I have you followed, then I can
Yeah.
definitely come hang out.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Especially like after a night of working, like I'm down to do a podcast versus sitting here and gaming sometimes. Like sitting here talking.
Yeah, because we're always looking for different perspectives.
Oh, I'm
You
down
know.
to talk about a lot of stuff. You know that. Like right now I feel like we could keep talking, but I know, we
Oh,
gotta call it an end.
yeah. I mean, I could keep talking forever, but yeah,
I know.
because that's why when people ask me, it's just like, what is it? Like you asked me, it's like, oh, about 90 minutes. But this is like, my podcast never go 90 minutes. I don't
Right.
think I've had one podcast in my life that's ever gone 90 minutes.
Wait, that's gone over or under?
Yeah, over.
Oh yeah. 90 minutes doesn't seem like a lot of time.
Yeah. So, but I do appreciate you and I do
Of
love
course.
you. And
Always.
I love your content. If you
Love
guys
you
have not,
too.
Twitch, Kick, X, Dead Mom Alive.
Yes.
Um, and we'll do this again because there's a lot of stuff didn't get
Oh
to
yeah.
cover again.
Oh yeah. We'll do it
So,
again. We'll do it again.
well, because there's a lot of stuff I want to learn about you in the content creation side of things. So we'll do this again.
Absolutely.
And Sultan, I hope you find your way on Rumble. I really do. But, thanks for watching us. I appreciate you guys.
Bye guys.
And we out.